Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Arlington Million Day in Chicago. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman for the races up in Chicago on Saturday, August the 13th. Jim's the director of mutuals and simulcasting, and we're going to take a look at the All-Stakes Pick 5, which starts in the 5th race. There's an All-Stakes Pick 4 that starts in the 6th, and there are actually 6 stakes races. The last one is the Pucker-Up, which we'll talk about, but it's not included in the Pick 5 or the Pick 4. If you want to do the Pick 6, it starts with the claiming race on the front end, the 4th. So, Jim, let's start with the 5th race. It's the Bruce D. Memorial, ungraded, and it's on the poly track for 3-year-olds going a mile. So, one turn here. Who did you land on?
This one looks like the Mike Maker Invitational. I've got 2 Maker horses here that I'm using to start the Pick 5, and Michael J, named for Michael Maker, I guess, and Two Step Time, the 9, both have a real shot here. Two Step Time just missed the Grade 3 Spiral on polytrack on a synthetic surface, so that bodes well for his success at Arlington. And both efforts on the synthetic were solid. Michael J only has 3 lifetime starts. Gets Laurent Giroux as a jockey who's always tough at Arlington, and I think those 2 are enough to get you started in the Pick 5. I think the 2 Maker horses have the best chance of winning. Pilot House, the 2 for Tom Amos, exits the Grade 3 Indiana Derby. Didn't really run very well, but Cupid ran away with that. Went off at 35-1, so drops back down to a more reasonable level, but no synthetic experience. So Pilot House is a question mark for me. I'd stick with the 2 Maker horses, probably taking Two Step Time, the 9, over Michael J, the 8, but using both of them in the Pick 5.
Yeah, I just singled Two Step Time for the Pick 5 because of the class drop. The 8 was the other one I liked, just like you, but with the class edge for Two Step Time, I'm going to single him to certainly make the ticket more affordable. If you just look at his synthetic record, nothing special, then you see, oh, well, he ran 4th in the Spiral. He didn't hit the board, but he only got beat 3/4 of a length in a graded stakes race on synthetic. So he obviously can handle that, and has kept very good company, and Maker picks his spots well. So I'm going to single Two Step Time in the Bruce D. Memorial to start the All-Stakes Pick 5. 6th race is the 1 11/16 Grade 3 American St. Ledger for 3-year-olds and up. This race usually is the top spots are dominated by the horses coming over from Europe, and there are 3 of them in here. I ended up taking one of them, Billabong. It's the only one of the 3 that's getting Lasix, so maybe the shift to the American conditions will serve this horse well. Pascal Berry sharp when he ships over. They get Flavian Pratt to ride. He's outstanding on the grass. And I started to go with the Big Hoss, but at 9-5 with the 3 Euros that are a little bit of a mystery, I couldn't take 9-5 on the Big Hoss, so I changed to Billabong, who's 10-1. I don't know if you'll get that, but I think those 2 you could take a shot with just those 2. I would also add the other 2 Euros, though, just because we don't know exactly how good they could be in the U.S. Wasir the 6, the 8 Clondale Warrior. But Billabong number 10 is going to be my pick in the St. Ledger. How about you?
Well, I don't want to take 9-5 on the Big Hoss for a win wager. I wouldn't play him to win, but I will single him in the Pick 5. I think it's a good stance to take here because the Europeans these are probably not the best Europeans in the world, but they are question marks. And the Big Hoss is in great form right now, and on a 2-race win streak. I think he's good enough to win this race. The question mark that we have is Wasser, the German horse. Clondale Warrior, first horse, intrigues me a little bit because the last time out, he won a race, the Guinness, it was a hurdles race, but it had 21 horses in it, and he won it at 4-1. But he likes, also, just like a lot of Europeans, likes to give in the ground. So if they don't get rain on Arlington Million Day, hopefully the Big Hoss will like the surface, and he's 1-for-1 at Arlington and 9-for-15, 8-for-15 lifetime turf. Mike Maker gets him ready off a little bit of a layoff. I think the Big Hoss is a good signal in here, so I'm going to stick with that on the Pick 5.
By the way, I did look at the forecast, and the last time I checked, they were talking about 80% rain on Friday, but nothing much on Saturday. So it looks like if they get that rain on Friday, there probably should be a little bit of that give in the ground. 7th race begins a run of 3 straight Grade 1s. This one, the Secretariat for 3-year-olds. They're all on the grass, going a mile and a quarter in this case. And big or good size, well-matched field here. Who did you land on?
I had 4 horses here that I'll use in the pick 5. A lot of question marks here. You got Cherry Wine off the Triple Crown Trail, trying the turf again. He started his career, broke his maiden, got off the turf on Churchill Downs, was on the turf and got taken off and broke his maiden. I guess they figured out he could run on the dirt, and he really didn't disgrace himself in any of the Triple Crown races. Ran the Preakness and ran the Belmont, and didn't run that badly after almost winning the Bluegrass. So Cherry Wine has got a shot in here, back on the turf. Mile and a quarter is a question mark. Beach Patrol, the 9, finished 3rd in the Belmont Derby. He's running well on turf at Churchill Downs and Santa Anita, so should be able to handle the surface at Arlington. Surgical Strike nearly won the Spiral on a synthetic, and Flavian Pratt is a great turf rider, so I think Surgical Strike, the 7, has a shot. And the other horse that I liked was the 8 Long Island Sound. Came over and ran well in the Belmont Derby, first time North America for Aidan O'Brien. You always got to look at Aidan O'Brien's horses on these dates. So Long Island Sound has a shot as well. So I would go 4 deep there. Don't really have a strong favorite. Probably Beach Patrol with a 9, but I would also use Long Island Sound. Long Island Sound, the 8, Surgical Strike, the 7, and Cherry Wine, the 1, going 4 deep in the pick 5.
I started to take Long Island Sound in here. I like the fact they're getting back to the jock that's 3 for 3 on him, but he's 5-2, and in a race where there's just no standout, I couldn't convince myself to go on a short price, so I went for Surgical Strike, a little better price, and Ben Colebrook might not take as much money as a trainer as O'Brien and Chad Brown, so you might get that 9-2, maybe even a little bit better. This horse, I love the switch to Pratt in the saddle. Horse has already won at Arlington, and with the chance of some value, I'm going to take Surgical Strike for my win pick, but I would use him, Long Island Sound, Beach Patrol, Oscar nominated would be my other one in the horizontals. If you go deeper, I'd probably Cherry Wine might be the next one that I would take a look at. 8th race is the Grade 1 Beverly D, and this is a 14-horse field of fillies and mares, 3 and up, going a mile and 3/16 on the turf course at Arlington. Who did you land on in this conglomeration?
When we started to do a pick 4, and I was mistakenly thinking that the last race was part of the pick 4, I was going to use all here and single on that one, but I can't get out a ticket for $300, so I knocked it down to 6 horses. I got Bally Doyle for Michael Tabor. I don't know what happened in the Belmont Oaks. I don't know what she went off 2-1 and just didn't really run a step. She's got to be better than that. Coolmore people don't bring them over here for nothing, and I think Bally Doyle has a shot. The gal's gal, you've got to look at Mike Maker. You got to look at Kenneth Ramsey. Ramsey just seems to always win a race on Arlington Million Day, and I think this horse has a shot as well. The 6 horse, Coolmore, the other Coolmore horse, did run better in the Belmont Oaks and only got beat by 4 lengths to catch a glimpse. So I think she's got a shot. I think the 9 horse, Zipessa, who won last out at Parks and won the Mint Julep at Churchill before that. So she's she ran 3rd in the Mint Julep, but beat Peter Pacey last time out rather easily. So I think Zipessa has a shot. I think the 12, Fallfather from Ireland for Grand Motion, won the Modesty last out, the prep race for this at Arlington, so she's obviously proven over the course. And my top choice would be C. Khaleesi for Chad Brown, who was almost won in New York last time out behind her stablemate Tacita, and won the Sheepshead Bay last time before that. I think that C. Khaleesi got to a really bad start in New York, or she would have won that race. So I think she'd be my top choice in here, the 13 horse. Can't come anywhere close to singling in here, though, so I'm going to use 6 horses in the pick 5, 1, 2, 6, 9, 12, and 13.
I did actually single it here. I love C. Khaleesi. I thought she had some trouble in her last start, and that previous one of the Sheepshead Bay that you referenced was just outstanding. Seems like she's working well. I think maybe she's raced against a little better Guapaza that she has competed against at her last 2 starts. Went up and won last weekend at Saratoga. So I'm going to like C. Khaleesi. I'm going to go for C. Khaleesi in here as a single, actually. Um, and after that, I'm all over the place. I've got it as wide open as you do. I'm keying C. Khaleesi in terms of exactas in this race with the 14 Pretty Girl, the 11 Elusive Million, the other Chad Brown horse, Fall Filet the 12, Ballydoyle the 1, Mary Prop the 3 at 30-1, and Al's Gal Coolmore I could be talked into as well. So if for some reason C. Khaleesi scratched, it would really throw my ticket into a total jumble because I wouldn't know what to do there. But I'm going to single C. Khaleesi in the Beverly D. Ninth race, the Arlington Million, Grade 1 at 1.25 miles on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. I like Wake Forest in here. I thought this horse got caught behind a slow pace last time in the UN that World Approval won. I think they went 50 and change for the half, and that kind of took away his late run. He's 4 for 7 at 1.25 miles, so I think coming back to 1.25 miles will serve him well. And Chad Brown wins at a 38% clip when his horses have 30 days or more on the shelf like this one has had for this spot. So I'm going to try Wake Forest in here. Certainly by no means a single, though. I like World Approval. I like Tristar, the 12, Deauville, the 13, Mondialise, the 9, are others. And I could be talked into others in here, but I have to stop somewhere. So Wake Forest is going to be the win pick for me, and I'll go 5 deep in my horizontal wagers. How about you?
Yeah, everything I like is on the outside as well, which scares me a little bit because I've got 10, 11, 12, and 13. Not necessarily in that order. You like Wake Forest best. I like World Approval and Tristar probably equally as well. Tristar is the horse coming from overseas that has won over $1 million, 9 for 14 lifetime. It's just very consistent. It's hard to handicap those races because you don't see them over there, but the quality of race horse he's been running against in England at Ascot and at Dubai is very likely better than North American horses that are running at the top level here in North America. But World Approval, I think, has a shot. Mark Cassey has this horse on top of his game. Won the United Nations last out at Monmouth over Wake Forest and Money Multiplier. Finished 2 lengths behind Flintshire in the Manhattan. Nothing wrong with that. So the last 3 races have been outstanding for World Approval. If he puts together another one and likes this surface, he's 1 for 1 at Arlington. He won here last year, but I think that World Approval has a shot, but I would equally like Tristar just because I like the foreign horses in this race. But I would also use Deauville, the 13, and I would use Wake Forest, the 10. So I would go 10. I would go 4 deep here, 10, 11, 12, and 13. If I had enough money, I'd go ahead and put Pizza Man in here. Pizza Man is not running well right now, but they got Mike Smith back on him. I don't know if Giroux took off to take World Approval or if they wanted another change on Pizza Man, but he's 10 for 14 at Arlington. So There's just something to be said for a horse that loves that track up there. And if there was a little give in the ground, he likes that. He comes way out of it, and I would not toss him here. So if I had enough money, I would put him in as well. So Pizza Man, the 5, along with the 10, 11, 12, and 13.
So my pick 5 ticket is going to start with a single of 2-step time. So it'll be 9, then with 10, 5, 8, 6, then with 7, 8, 9, 6, then with 13, and then with 10, 11, 12, 9, 13. Now, the only thing I could say there is in that second leg, the St. Ledger, I could, if you wanted to go deeper in other legs, you could go Billabong and the Big Hoss there on from my perspective and go deeper in some of the other legs. But that's what mine's going to look like. How about yours?
Okay, I think I've got a $120 ticket if I've calculated correctly. So I would use 8, 9, the 2 maker horses in the first leg, Michael J. and 2-step time in the Bruce T. Memorial. I would single the Big Hoss, the 5 horse, in the second leg, the American St. Ledger. I would use the 1, 7, 8, 9 we talked about in the third leg, which is the Secretariat, Cherry Wine, Surgical Strike, Long Island Sound, and Beach Patrol. Then I would go 6 deep in the Beverly D, the 1, 2, 6, 9, 12, 13, Ballydoyle, Al's Gal, Coolmore, Zepessa, C. Khaleesi, and Fossilire. Fossilire, I can't pronounce that horse, F-A-U-F-I-L-E-R.
I think they call it Faux Filet.
And then, Fossilire, okay, I can do that. And then 5 deep in the last race, I would put the Pizza Man in there. I've talked myself into it, so I go 5.
Don't blame
and
you.
then the outside horses 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that would be Wake Forest, World Approval, Twister, and Deauville. And I think that's $120. Singling the big hoss, making my stand on that, and then going fairly deep in the rest of the legs. It's a great wagering card at Arlington on Saturday.
And the last race is a great betting race. Full field in the Grade 3 Pucker Up at 1 1/8 on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. And you had a strong opinion in there, right?
I did have. I really like Auntie Joy, the 9 horse. I think she's just her last few races. She ran behind Catch a Glimpse twice, once at Keeneland, once at Churchill, and came back and won the Grade 3 Regret over Noble Beauty, which is another choice I have in here. I like Auntie Joy on top. I think that Brendan Walsh is a really underrated trainer, and she's raced against better than these other fillies in here. Nolan's Kitty is the 3rd horse, so Buck Bradley might have another, maybe not a superstar in his hands, but she looked pretty good at Indiana in July, winning that little stakes race over Inconclusive, and she's 2 for 2, so she's very lightly raced, a couple of 75 buyers, so she's got room to move up. Auntie Joy would be, if I were, like I guess I could play a late pick 3 here, taking a lot of horses in the Million and the Beverly D, then singly Auntie Joy to make some money. But I like her a lot in this last race.
I ended up taking Havana Dream in here, and it's not so much a win pick as it is a key horse. I think you'll get every bit of 12 to 1 on this horse from the 14 hole. Not a great post, but I like that it's steadily improving. Had a wide trip last time, and this is just a really bold move by Mark Casse, and I like that confidence. So I'm going to use Havana Dream as kind of my key horse, and use her in exactas with Auntie Joy, Noble Beauty, and Try Your Luck. Nolan's Kitty intrigued me a little bit too. I think you make a good point on that one. I almost keyed in on that one rather than Havana Dream, but Havana Dream for me is kind of a key horse in wagers for that last race. And if she should win, I think you'd get a really big price. So great card on Saturday at Arlington. You've also got a grade 1 up at Saratoga, the 4-star Dave. So just some great racing this time of year. Best of luck on your wagers, and we will be back next week. It'll be Alabama Stakes Day at Saratoga for the next Saturday when we get together for the In the Money podcast at KeenelandSelect.com.